So something that we're trying to think about as a team, as a company, is how do we broaden out from TinyMCE? And one of those first steps we've made is around a great new file manager and image upload component that you can embed in your application called TinyDrive. So the whole idea here is to be a best-of-breed tool for doing file management and uploading. There are so many edge cases and features that you could build into a file management tool. When we talk to developers, they find that they might just do the bare minimum. When you get on board with TinyDrive, you'll be able to have a much richer user interface that obviously supported and maintained by us. If you to incorporate into your app, so it works seamlessly with TinyMCE. So if you're embedding images or trying to attach files in content with TinyMCE, it'll work easily with that. Most of the magic in TinyDrive is in the front end. It's like a JavaScript library, if you like, but we have it available on cloud with some integrated storage. So you can get half a gig of storage free from us, as well as bandwidth, a gig of bandwidth. That's all powered by AWS. And you can talk to us about getting additional storage or bandwidth. One of the things that we've introduced this quarter for TinyDrive is the ability to use it outside of TinyMCE. So to be able to have what you're seeing in the demo here is to be able to pick media from the file manager and insert it into a form field, which is super cool. Other things that we've done is the ability to select files from external services like Google Drive or Dropbox to import that into your quote-unquote TinyDrive. As we mentioned, most of this is about the front end, so we are looking at opening up the back-end storage options. But check it out; it's a nice streamlined way for people to bring in files from third parties such as Dropbox and Google Drive. One of the things that we found is that when you integrate file management into your application, you need to take care of authentication, and we use something called JWT, which is great, but left people scratching their head if they needed to implement that from scratch. So we now have some starter packs available as repositories that you can clone from GitHub that work in Node, PHP, Java, and .NET. Get on there and download them. You'll be able to just as a very simple place to put in your JWT icon, API key, and that'll get you up and running a lot easier than trying to do all that stuff from scratch. Coming soon in TinyDrive, it is still a lot of work going into it, which is great. You'll be able to preview PDFs and videos. This is a great example of a feature that you would perhaps struggle to find the time to implement yourself, but if you jump on board with us, that'll just come out of the box. We'll enable you to introduce your own backend, either something from S3, Azure, or potentially build your own entire custom backend, just writing to making a JSON API available to the TinyDrive component so that users can browse, select, update, upload, that sort of stuff. Some integrations with the popular frameworks, that's always been popular with TinyMCE, so it's something we'll look at doing for TinyDrive. And finally, the ability to actually install the JavaScript packages via NPM or self-host them, so that in theory, you will be able to use TinyDrive without any dependency on our cloud backend and host it all yourself. So if anything there sounds of interest, let us know. That would be great. Something that Blake has been personally involved in is the plugins directory. So I'm going to hand over back to him to talk about that.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Andrew. So as you can see on the screen in front of you, we've recently released a new plugins directory on the website. Prior to this, you had to go to one part of the website to look at our core plugins. You had to go somewhere else to look at our premium plugins, and yet another place to look at offerings from our technology partners. We've now pulled all those together in one place. It's obviously more convenient for you. If you look on the screen, the left side of the screen, we've included in the left rail, there's a search dialog. You can filter by category when it comes to plugins. You can also filter by functionality. So aside from being nice and easy one-stop shopping, we hope it actually helps you work faster and become more productive, since you now have just one place to look for everything, just a quick and easy reference guide for what's available for you for Tiny MCE. Next, I had mentioned that we are including our technology partners as part of the plugin directory. I just wanted to talk a bit about those. Technology partners that we have. You know, Tiny MCE as the world's most popular WYSIWYG text editor, right? It makes sense that there are other companies out there building really excellent plugins for the editor. You can see some of those examples here. We have third-party plugins for real-time collaboration, for interactive charting, for equation editing, for dynamic email content. Really cool stuff. And in Q2, we added a new technology partner to our roster, and this company is called Loop Index. And there on the next screen, you can see they have made two plugins for Tiny, one for track changes and one for inline comments. There's a screenshot of the track changes functionality there in front of you. You may be saying to yourself, well, doesn't Tiny MCE also make its own commenting plugin? And yes, we do. But we're certainly happy for Loop Index to bring theirs to the table. We encourage you to check out both and pick the one that's right for you. Ultimately, we want happy users, so again, whatever works.